All right, it's pre-show time.
All right.
Woo! So Aaron's just regaled me of tales of his terrible month.
Bad month, y'all. So.
But my month hasn't been quite so bad. We didn't do a pre-show last week. Did you realize that?
I thought you and Brent did one.
No, we just played a bunch of Dragon's Lair, and when I say played, Brent failed multiple times on the first screen of each Dragon's Lair game.
That's odd because Brent's a real good hand.
Well, that's the thing. It must have been. They must just be different than the arcade games.
He's played on the Amiga. I don't know.
But he said he was going to practice and come back. So
in fact, he beat Time Warp on the Amiga. I'm pretty sure back in the day.
Yeah. So he'll be back. We'll put those up.
He was going to come over tonight, but he had to work late. Sorry.
Yeah, he said he wanted to come over for this
Brent
one.
Fans.
But he'll be on the stream at least. So.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I wanted to talk to you because we haven't had a chance to discuss what is surely one of the more pivotal events of your life. The whole business with the Hulk and Bruce Banner.
What about him?
Isn't he dead? Or isn't he going to die?
Well, it's comic books.
Right.
You
were very upset about it on Facebook.
I was. But, and it's stupid. So, I've come to grips. It's funny that when you put things in perspective, which I've done to a certain degree. When you look at America in terms of a voting body, we got big issues coming up.
We do.
When you look at the world, you've got the Britain's exit from the European Union. You've got terrorism. You've got all this stuff going on in France. So when I look at this now, it's so ludicrously stupid. That much said, my 2 cents on it. Marvel are attention whores. They love getting little headlines. They're a lot like the WWF, WWE. They love anytime they get any sort of news. And so they tried to upstage DC when they re-released their New 52. They tried to get press with Captain America being a Nazi, which was all bullcrap. They've already sort of, they did what they said they wouldn't do, so that was crap. There's a gay Latino Peter Parker, or a gay Latino Spider-Man, okay. There's a Asian Hulk. Who cares? I mean, honestly, Marvel's dead to me. I haven't given a crap. You notice they don't do this stuff in the movies. I haven't read Marvel comics since the end of the Onslaught series, with the exception of some of the Avengers that were Kurt Busiek did afterwards, and a few other select titles, and I don't read any now. The only title I pick up monthly is the Bob's Burger comic, and I pick it up for Teresa because she likes it, and I occasionally pick up kid comics for Luke. That's it. I've got stacks and stacks of back issues of the best stuff Marvel ever did. It's way better than what they got now, and whether people... Hose was just telling me that comics are at an all-time high. He's completely disillusioned, and Hose is a much bigger comic fan than me. So if comic books are at an all-time high, great. If people dig the fact that they're getting rid of all the original characters and putting in surrogates and changing all this stuff, that's cool. Whatever makes people happy. I don't have to give a crap. I don't. And as far as I'm concerned, they can make Hulk whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. Girl Peter Parker, whatever they want to do. It doesn't matter. Because that's not the legitimate Marvel Universe. It's what it's become. It's the crap Marvel Universe. DC does the same crap. So,
now what would you?
I would love to cuss about this, but I'm going to be very calm and friendly when I say, I don't. They could just, it's just more crap. It's crap.
What would you say the height of Marvel was, in your opinion?
When did I enjoy it the most?
Mm-hmm.
I like the Avengers from the early 70s. Was probably my favorite time. Early to mid 70s. They started to edge out in the early 80s. X-Men probably maxed out in the early 80s. They were a few steps behind. Daredevil had a real nice run when Kevin Smith wrote it in the 90s, and a few other select writers. Batman is an up and down book depending on who's writing it. The Avengers are like that, depending on who's writing it. I think they had a pretty decent run with Volume 3 because I like the Perez and Busiek. I like those guys. But you can't escape the editor-in-chief's wrath or his grip. I hate him. I hate Marvel's editor-in-chief. I hate everything he's done. And I knew we were in trouble. Hey, I was at a Comic-Con with some of the guys that wrote that drew the original Green Lantern. Some of the guys that wrote for the Avengers in the 70s and wrote some of the bullpen guys. And every one of them, to a man, hated what was happening in the comic books. And this was 10 years ago. So you can imagine, now most guys are probably dead now, but they probably died of anger. So, yeah, I'm not a comic book guy anymore. I know, hey, Chad is, and he could sit here and tell you every good book that's out right now. And I'm sure there's some great stuff. It's probably like television. This could be a golden age. I'm not reading it.
Mm-hmm. I
don't have $5 to spend per book twice a month. And I don't like what I've seen. I don't like what I've read. Now I'm not going to read it. I don't have to. I've got plenty of other stuff to occupy my time.
Oh yeah, yeah. When you consider all the back issues, like how much stuff do you have that you've only read once or twice? You could go back. You've probably got stuff you haven't looked at in decades, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So that's kind of the way I feel about most things. Video games are the same way. There's still a billion Commodore 64 games I've never played.
Yeah. It's funny. Now, this week I have tried to clean up my act. I've got a large console collection. I've been trying to get stuff hooked back up. Me and Luke were in there playing, and we played. I got the NES hooked up. We played Super Mario Brothers on there, and he hadn't played that much, and we played that. Then we played Mario World on the Super Nintendo. And then we played Mario on the Wii. And I went through it. I said, look, I was like, I've got every console that Nintendo's ever released up to the Wii U. I don't have that one, which that's stunning because I'm not a Nintendo guy. Now I've acquired some recently. But I haven't played that much Nintendo. My brother played a lot, but I haven't. So it's kind of neat to go back and play some of that stuff. And I've got some stuff hopefully coming that I get to play a little more stuff on the console. I know, yes, I've got the emulation stuff, but
it's nice playing it on the original hardware.
It is. It's nice. Plus, we got all the sticks and stuff. So, like we talked about this before, if you've got all this stuff and you're not playing it, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
It's just sitting there and you look like a jerk. So I've hooked everything back up, and some stuff I've never had hooked up. I've got a GameCube I've never had hooked up because I couldn't see a reason for it because I had the Wii. Well, I've got a reason for it now. I've got a Game Boy Advance cartridge.
Oh yeah,
thing
I used to
on
have
it.
one of those. Those are great.
I've got to get the boot disc, which I don't have.
You gotta have the disc.
But I've got a little gimmick I found. It's cheap as anything. It's got 300 or 400 Game Boy Advance games on one cart. So I thought I'd get that, throw that in there, have a look.
Right.
So that's what I'm looking at. I've been playing a lot more stuff. Played a lot of Amiga this week. Played some Three Stooges. Played the games we're doing today quite a bit, and so there was a nice tension breaker to play some games. I listen to a lot of. By the way, I saw the little thing we got from the Retro Asylum fellow, Press Pull and Tape, which that was awesome. I was very pleased about.
Oh
that.
yeah, I'll talk about that on the show.
But one thing I'll say about those guys is they truly do have a passion for classic games. They get to play a lot more than we probably do, certainly more than I do. And it is fun to go back and just give them a whirl, and play some of the old stuff. And I'm like you, there's a lot of C64 stuff and Spectrum stuff and stuff that I've not touched. So, all in good time.
Yeah.
I've already told myself that I'm going to try to play everything I want, and so that's what I'm doing. So when I get a spare moment, me and Luke are in there. We instead of firing up the Xbox, just playing something on coin ops, which I usually do. We're trying to play the different consoles.
It's good. It'll give him a good appreciation of his gaming past too as he grows up.
Yeah. We played Pokemon Snap. We never played that before.
It's pretty fun, right?
It's different. It's a real different, weird game where you take pictures of Pokemon, and so that was interesting.
Yeah, it's still got a big following. A lot of people really
so
like
we're working the circuit on that, But when it comes to comic books, getting back to that, to put the close on that, it makes me sad, really, to a certain degree. But part of me looks at it like I look at films or anything else. They're comic books where I guess they're, I hate to say it, it makes me sick and it makes me feel old, but they're making them for this generation of people. And this is I guess this is what they want, That's all you can say about it.
Yeah, you're right. I did bring in a couple things. I picked this up at Empire Books in Huntington.
Oh, that's a new one?
New one. Look at that. Complete guide
Holy
to Mr.
smokes.
New. Yeah.
We got to memorize the hell out of that.
Yeah, so this is the newest issue of Retro Gamer. In the UK, you've probably had this for months, but it was new here. This is, it's got a big cover story on Outrun, And
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and then the Complete Guide to Mr. Do, which was the very first thing I read, and it was great. So, you know, I always like to pick these up whenever I'm out and about. You ever been to that bookstore in Huntington?
I've
there in
not.
Pullman Square?
I've not been. No, I have been in there. Yes, I have. But I don't get to Pullman very often.
Me neither.
I hate Huntington so much. No offense to anyone that lives there, but it's a god awful death hole.
It's the worst.
And what they've done to Third Avenue? What were they smoking?
It seems
Make
to
it 2
diverge
lanes,
and then moving one.
Make it 2 lanes. Let's put a bike lane in the middle. Let's kill these suckers. If I would ride a bike in that lane if you paid me.
Oh no. But
I'm glad to see someone still carrying it. Like I said, I don't think they carry it anymore.
It's a real nice independent bookstore. They've got a whole bunch of really niche magazines, bunch of hacker magazines and stuff like that.
2600 still around?
Yep, it's still there. I was checking that out. Half the stuff, more than 99% of the stuff in there is just code I can't understand, but I like to know that it exists.
Yeah. It does. It sort of makes me happy.
Yeah. So I went in there and picked that up. Actually got a bookbinding magazine too. It's like, hey, that looks pretty cool. So, and I wanted to give you a couple things. I wanted to give you back your Atari book.
Oh, thank you.
This is an awesome book that I read while we were on the cruise. Mostly I read the Atari 8-bit stuff, but I read, it's got some great developer previews.
Yeah, they did a good job on that.
Got the latest issue of Golden Seal magazine here
Cool.
with Billy Ed Wheeler.
I like that.
There.
That's my girlfriend. She's a big fan of these. This is a West Virginia magazine that they produce around here, and they usually do a good job.
Yeah, it's very good.
You know, I don't think did I mention the new stuff I got for the Game Gear on here?
Yeah, we talked about it last week.
The new stuff?
No, maybe not the new stuff. You talked about the golf game MK2.
No, I got new stuff.
Okay, tell us.
You know, I haven't played it, so I got the stuff early, but I thought, okay, this guy has some stuff. I told you he's got the stuff back behind the counter in a box. So I get this stuff cheap. So I went back, I had Sonic 2. I picked up Sonic 1, and I picked up Sonic 3. I think it's 3. I'm trying to think what the name of it is. You can play as Sonic or as somebody else. I picked up Pac-Man.
Oh, yeah.
Pac-Man's good, by the way.
It's good port.
I picked up... what else did I picked up 2 more things. It'll hit me. But I also picked up the weird battery thing that sits on the back of it, which it makes the thing, it's like holding a cinder block. You know,
becomes less portable. At that point, you just lay on the couch and you just rest it right there on the
absolutely,
gut.
Absolutely. So I've got, I think I've got 8 or 9 titles now, and they're pretty fun. You know, again, Game Gear. It's funny; those things really aren't worth that much. No one gives a crap about them. No one wants to fix them. And when I was there, the guy was talking to people how to fix them again. You know, I'm like, oh, he's not working. He's a crap. You know, and I was like, you know, I like it.
Yeah.
You know, get the box. If he went and got the box, maybe a good deal, you know, on them. So, I don't know. I've never really collected handheld stuff, but, you know, you can't pass up some deals. So,
No,
you know,
no.
So.
And I think there's a lot of cool, like, if I came across a Lynx in the wild, you know.
I came across a couple that didn't work, and I've regretted not buying them. It's just why I bought this thing. It's like, if I know it doesn't work, but I got lucky, but, you know, I was like, I might as well just go for it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm the same way. I would love to have one, especially because, you know, when you know the history of them and stuff, it's kind of neat.
It would be great if you could pick up a power base converter for your Game Gear. I think you can use that thing to play. No, that was for the Genesis that you could play the Mega Drive games. But I think there was another thing for the Game Gear.
I would love to have one of those. But I'm looking at. I'm not going to really talk about it because I haven't gotten it. You know, something I was hoping to get this week that I didn't get. But I've been looking at multi-cards, SD card reader type cards for various consoles, and the Genesis one will play Master System games right off the SD, which would be great.
Yeah.
Because I'm not super duper keen on the Master System controllers. They're okay.
Yeah, they're all right. The D-pads. Questionable.
But it would be nice to be able to play those on the Genesis. And now that I've got I'm so close to having a 32X up and running on it. I just need I'm missing one cable that's not here yet. And once I get it, and assuming it works, plus I've got to pick up a 32X cartridge. But if it works, that'll be great. And then you can get a multi-cart that plugged into it that will let you play the Genesis games, the Master System games, and the 32X stuff.
Wow.
So that would be neat.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I've milled with this stuff way too much. You know, but it's a nice respite when shit goes south.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's see. I think I don't have anything other here in my stack.
Is the book good? Have you looked through it yet?
The new Retro Gamer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read the complete guide to Mr. Do, and it was awesome.
Chad is great at Mr. Do, and I've never beaten this high score on it, and I know there are great tricks.
And what's great about it, if I can just open it up real quick and show you, they go through and they go into detail every single port for every system, talking about what's good about it, what's not so good.
Oh, that's great, isn't it?
And they talk about Neo, Mr. Do, and all that stuff, and all the clones that were out there. There's actually an Amiga clone of Mr. Do called Bob's Garden.
Oh, we got to find that, don't we?
Yeah. So
I like Fruity Frank.
yeah, that was for the old Amstrad. Of course, there was Mr. Do with 2 O's for the Acorn Archimedes.
Isn't it the Super Nintendo version of Mr. Do where you could play 2 players simultaneous?
I don't know. I know that the
maybe it's
the
Neo
SNES,
Geo.
The Neo Mr. Do you definitely can. The Super Nintendo version is very rare. It's one of the most valuable
cards. I think you can play 2 players at once.
It might be. It came out really late, in like '96, after the N64 had already come out.
Did you see the new thing that I just got it popped on my Facebook today? It's a little dongle that you plug into your Super Nintendo, and it lets you have. It's a Bluetooth controller.
Really?
And it's the Nintendo controller and Bluetooth. It's $24.
Wow. See, that kind of thing, I think
kind of neat, isn't it?
Yeah, because if they can figure out a way to put something on the front of a system, and then you plug in the real controller to a receiver, Bluetooth receiver, that's money right there.
I would like to see something. Yeah, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see something. What really needs it desperately is the Dreamcast. They only had that really. There was only one made, I think, ever for it. I was baffled at how the Dreamcast doesn't have a wireless controller.
Yeah, it's true. The GameCube really was the first system that had really good.
Was it the Wingbird?
The
Wavebird.
Yeah,
it was an excellent one. Yeah, I've got one of those, but don't have the dongle for it, unfortunately. So man, I'm screwed out of luck. Yeah. But yeah, and apparently they made the same company made the same thing for the NES. Now the NES controller, I'm not keen on. To be honest with you, it's really uncomfortable to hold after a while. But Super Nintendo controller, that I could live with. That's not too bad.
Yeah, it's
and if they had now, I don't know if this is what you were talking about. If they could make a Bluetooth receiver, because that's what they said it was. That you could plug into your any console and then use whatever stick you want that's Bluetooth.
Right.
That would be tremendous.
Yeah. And I mean, they'd still have to make it system specific because you'd have to plug that into the controller ports.
Right. The dongle would have to be
right. And
now that may take a little bit away from, but there are some systems I'm looking at you, Atari 7800, for example. God, please, please,
any controller
or the Jag. Sweet. What was Atari smoking? They had one good stick and they went right down the toilet with everything else they ever did.
Yeah. It's. I'd like to read. I'm sure Retro Gamer has done a retrospective on the Jag and what they were thinking when they made that controller. There were so many.
They were probably in panic mode.
Yeah, because they'd sold off all their assets at that point and poured everything into the Jag.
Well, in theory, the Jag controller could have been good. I like the overlay thing. I don't have a problem with the pad, but the bulk, the way the buttons set, the way everything feels, it's a fail, big time. Ever since Intellivision put that dial on theirs, the touchpad, everyone else tried to, Coleco did it. It seemed to be the thing. We got to have one of these. Well, you really have to have one? How much did the Intellivision use it? Unless you're playing baseball or football.
Right. I guess, anything that has maybe like, I don't know if Utopia used it for different things. Maybe different buttons did different functions, but you're right. I mean, it was very rarely used.
I mean, they would shoehorn stuff on. Like, something that always pisses me off is Night Stalker. You use it to fire up, down, left, right. Well, they just did, and it's irritating to have to use it. And, those overlays are always a little bit loose. Then those buttons get worn out on those controllers. I don't know how much you play with the Intellivision, but
not just over at your house. That's the only time. I had one for a long time, and I never hooked it up. I don't think I had the right connections.
Yeah.
But yeah. We'll have to do, one of these days when we hit the lottery and we have all the time in the world, we'll just expand our coverage and we'll just do whatever we want.
What would be, what would be great if they had a 2600 version of that Bluetooth thing, and then we could use it on the Amiga.
Yeah,
that would be sweet. Good. That would be super sweet.
I bet they make a Bluetooth kind of competition pro like stick. I'll have to do some research and see.
We have to look into this. Yeah. What would be awesome? Check it out. So you've got Bluetooth going to that 2600 port. The Amiga's got one, right? Just like the Nintendo, but it lets you use your mouse with it. So you
Yeah.
use a Bluetooth mouse and a Bluetooth. And then we're going down to, or other types of cars. Then we're really going to go into a different world. Then.
Oh yeah,
That'd be sweet.
Yeah. So let's talk about wrestling real quick. I was here and I hear all this stuff on the internet, and I don't know what it means. There's this thing about deleted. What is that? Can you explain that? Can you give me the 90-second
final
rundown?
deletion.
The final deletion.
The final deletion. I have to say, it was great. It's Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy of the Hardy Boys of the Hardy Boys fame. They were in WWF for a while with Lita, and Jeff Hardy had a real rough road with drug problems, and he has been out of WWF for a while. He apparently has got himself cleaned up, but the angle they've ran is Jeff did something to Matt Hardy to screw him up mentally. So now he's called Broken Matt Hardy. And Broken Matt Hardy is, in essence, he's sort of like a Bond villain.
Okay.
He's real flowery. He talks with this, I don't know what accent it would be.
Is he trying to do a British accent?
Let's say uppity New England.
Okay.
But I mean, I'm not sure. I don't. It's a weird accent, but like a Rockefeller. But he's got his wife is his valet, and they have a baby who's just turned 1, Maxwell, and Maxwell's always with them at ringside. His wife's got a backpack, just carries Maxwell around everywhere. I mean, the real baby, and they've gotten Maxwell's hair teased out. Matt teased his hair out like, it's hard to explain, but it comes way out like this, and it's black with like kind of like blonde stripes in it. It's real. He looks crazy. So the whole premise of this is he wanted to delete Jeff from existence. And so what they did was they filmed this, I guess the best way to put it's like a film. It's a movie of a contract signing between the two of them, and then another larger thing, which is actually called the final deletion, where Matt starts at the kid's birthday party, and he tells the kid for his birthday he's going to delete his Uncle Jeff once and for all. He calls him Brother Nero because Jeff's middle name is Nero. Jeff Nero Hardy. So he calls him. He's like Brother Nero. Like that's how he addresses Jeff. And I'm not going to go into this whole thing, but it's got lasers and drones that emit holograms, and
I heard about a dilapidated boat.
A dilapidated boat is involved. The fireworks. A guy's jumping out of a tree.
This sounds like something I need to watch.
This is like, the best way to describe it is if you ever seen The Room, and if you haven't, you need to. For everyone that hasn't seen The Room, it's The Room meets Birdemic. I've heard it described. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty. I mean, it's all the funny things that are involved in someone making a film that they don't realize is horrible, combined with horrible special effects and horrible, ridiculous dialogue and a goofy plot.
So it's one of the best things the WWE's done in a while.
It's not WWE, it's TNA.
Oh,
and TNA has done nothing for years, and they've been on the verge of bankruptcy forever. And they could literally fold any moment, and this ain't going to save them. But it's the first thing that I've seen. I haven't watched TNA for years. It's the first thing I've watched forever, and it's very clever and silly and fun, and goofy, and so. It's something I'd go out of your way to watch. It's all over YouTube. And it's funny because Matt Hardy stays in character most of the time. So I saw him getting interviewed about UFC or something, and he was still in character. And at the end of the interview, he just started going, delete, delete, over and over like he's dialing. It was the damnedest thing I've ever seen. And the interviewer was like, what the hell's going on? He's like, delete, screaming at the camera. So, yeah, It's worth a watch. I don't know where you would have heard about this.
On a video game podcast, they brought it up, and they're like,
the final deletion. It kind of hit the net by storm a couple weeks ago, but it's definitely worth going out of your way to see.
That sounds awesome.
Recommend it. I also recommend the Birdemic. Have you ever seen that?
I've never seen Birdemic.
Have you heard of Birdemic?
No. Is it like Sharknado?
It's much, much worse.
Oh, wow.
And then The Room.
I've not heard of that either. It sounds
You've
scary.
Not heard of The Room. If you're a Rift Tracks,
like The Ring?
If you're a Rift Tracks fan, it's not scary.
Okay.
Unless bad acting, bad dialogue, and bad everything else is scary to you. But I mean, it's The Room is something that has to be experienced.
Okay.
It really is. So I recommend. Those are my movie picks this week. The Room. Oh, and a real movie pick that me and Tree have been watching. We found this thing on Netflix called Stranger Days. That's what it's called. It's a little series that they put together. I think it's one complete series. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
Is that what it's called? It's called Stranger Things. Stranger Things. Or Strange Things. Something like that. Anyway, it's tremendous. I recommend that big time.
Okay.
It's kind of set in the 80s. It's got like an 80s horror film vibe. It's got that kind of syntho music that happened in the 80s, the background stuff. It's just tremendous. It's kind of like
But it's current day.
Yeah. They made it this year. Or last year. Yeah,
that sounds interesting.
If you're into like original Netflix stuff, which I'm not a huge fan, but me and Tree have just finished watching, we've just watched the first season of a show called The Man in the High Castle, which was not that great.
That's a post-apocalyptic thing, right?
It's a Philip K. Dick. It's based on one of his books, which he's a great, and I've heard it bears not too
Little
much
resemblance.
Yeah, so I'm not here to give video pics, but yeah, the strange that thing I mentioned earlier, that's a good one. But Birdemic, The Room, you need to watch those too.
All right. And with that, we'll go ahead and close out our pre-show.
What a pre-show!
Yeah. We'll see
Next
you.
week I'll tell you what I'm cooking.
It'll be great. We'll see you then.
Adios.